What would you do if you had an infinity to yourself? What this guy did was practice. Every day, fucking singular mind and thought. One thing after, like, just the same training, perfection, running, pursuing towards perfection. There is so much respect in that.
I put my phone on, do not disturb. Don't wanna talk, I don't want
For
to
me, lifting weights is definitely my favorite medium, of like physical activity. Yeah.
It's one of my only.
Yeah, one of my only. Yeah, I definitely like to run, and stuff like that. Like I find that to be, good, but like the growth and kind of like, because you can see a lot of growth with running, but you won't build muscle while running.
You'll get fucking lean.
You can get fucking
and your
shredded.
Endurance will be through the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Like you can see a lot of progress with running, but like kind of just like physically, you get bigger, and if you incorporate like a little bit of cardio, you can also get leaner at the same time.
Yeah.
And just like kind of like that slow progression over time is really satisfying in the sense that like that growth almost is never stopping, and you could always improve, like slowly and incrementally over time.
Yeah. Progressive overload, man.
Progressive overload, facts.
You gotta keep, but like you gotta, like I like working out because it's really one of those things where it's like through pain you find clarity, and there's something like really deep about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it was another Bruce Lee quote. It was something about how martial arts is one of the most purest forms of expression, because there's no room for error in terms of like, there's no mediary, but like there's no lip service when it comes to fighting. It just is.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why it's like those two are kind of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like to kind of vent, because it's like I said in like I think it was the first episode, like to keep my mind clear, I need violent expulsion of negativity. And I can go into the gym or sometimes in like sparring, I can just settle into that state where I'm one with the demon, and I can fucking take it out on the weights.
Yeah.
And it's so liberating because that way I can go out free of this kind of negativity, stress, anxiety, anger, and just be free to pursue what I need to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think very interesting, kind of like how you find through pain you find peace, right?
Yeah.
And that for me is like very relatable because in the sense it's like that mind muscle connection you make with the weights. And a lot of people that in the industry, they're like, okay, you want to get a better contraction of your muscle, right? You want to focus your like attention on the muscle, right? Because it'll do more damage to the muscle, right? You want more damage as long as you're not overtraining. But in that sense, it's like you're meditating, right? Because you're cultivating attention and you're being in the here and now, right? By focusing on your bicep, like while you're going up, that slow eccentric contraction, right, on the way down, and it's like you said, you become one, right? And like all the thoughts are like out, because you're not focused on your thoughts, you're focused on the muscle.
Yeah.
And it's like it's painful, but it's also peaceful at the same time, right? It's kind of like a paradoxical thing that brings so much benefit, even though you're suffering at the same time. You're putting yourself through hell. You're putting yourself through the ringer, right? Yeah. It's like a good type of pain,
Yeah.
And that's something. Like when you feel that good type of pain, and you're like, man, I'm really fucking working this muscle. Like you find those exercises that burn like all fucking hell.
Fucking Bulgarian,
Bulgarian
split squats. I can't fucking walk. Fucking leg day, man.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's like whether it be like low volume, like heavy weight training, like strength training, which I find like it's obviously different for everyone, but I find a lot of satisfaction in just because I was like I did some high volume deadlifts the other day, like for 6 to 8 reps, and I was like, damn, I looked at myself in the fucking mirror, I was like, damn, I haven't felt this way in a long time, and it was so satisfying, and I was like, it gave me like a burst of motivation and even more gravitational pull towards the weights. And I think a big part of that is keeping it fresh, like constantly switching up things, which I think you do a really good job of, like in your workouts.
Yeah, like I like to switch it up. Like sometimes it's very important to keep. I think Arnold said it because like once your body gets used to the routine, you stop. It gets used to the motions.
Yep.
So you have to constantly switch up your routine in order to keep it going.
Sometimes,
and like that's something I do a lot. Like I'm no, I am one of the. I'll hop from like, hey, what did Hugh Jackman do to get jacked for the Wolverine?
Steroids.
What did Thor do to get jacked for the for these movies? I'll take those programs, at least the ones I find that aren't too heavy on like strange lifting motions that I'm not too comfortable with, and I'll kind of group them all together. And, I kind of feed my Instagram with that. Have that good mental diet of, like, fresh ideas to try in the weight room.
Yep.
That and, like, martial arts, too.
Yeah.
But I'm out of practice because of COVID. But, nonetheless, it's still good that you have to keep your body guessing. Because that's where, like, that's the thing. There's no growth happens outside your comfort zone. And the more you train the specific program, the more your body will develop a comfort zone to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the growth will stagnate. So you have to always keep it fucking moving.
Yeah.
And like I'll always try to cater it to a different goal depending on what I'm striving for.
Yeah.
Like going into school, I'm going to be kind of switching up my program a little bit to focus on, kind of growing the muscle, building strength, but also getting good flexibility, and then doing plyometric calisthenics, which are essentially like hand clap push-ups and stuff, to get my fast twitch muscles more equipped for striking and different types of martial arts, explosive movements. Yeah. So it's like these are like ways you can cater your training to a certain goal, and in that training, not only will I find mental clarity, I'll also be building strength to better help me in these different athletic areas.
For sure. And yeah, a big thing, like no growth happens outside your comfort zone, right? And a lot of times what I've been finding in my workouts at least is, at least I should say a couple of months ago, that I would just go in, do the same thing, and it was a banger workout, right? But I was getting like used to it. My muscle memory, my body was just so used to it, Yeah. And whenever I switched up the workout, and I was like, I know, like from objective research that this workout is fucking banger, right? And how it makes me feel, but like when I think of that workout, I'm like, oh damn, I don't want to do that. Like I don't like doing that, because it requires effort, And there, like we talk a lot of times about like effortless effort on this channel, but I'm talking about physical exertion, right? And then how you have to align that mentally for it to flow out externally, because if you're thinking like, okay, man, I really don't want to do this workout, but then you force yourself to go do it anyways, 9 times out of 10, it's going to feel even better because over time, that is the first initial choice that you take to change it. And that can be applied to a lot of things because it's not easy to step outside your comfort zone, whether it be talking to girls like we were talking before this, or it be trying a new exercise, or it be doing an assignment rather than, going on your phone for that dopamine drag and hit. It's like, and once you like continue to switch it up, like even that general concept will become natural to you, right? Because you're so used to switching it up, and that's really cool to think about, and it definitely is a valuable skill that you can take from the gym or really any area you're using it in, and then apply it to other areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that whole like concept of like keeping it moving, keeping your body and your brain guessing, like it's good to branch out. Like a lot of people like think of like trying new things, and like the immediate thing that comes to their mind is food. But I feel like for me, it's like I like training skills.
Yeah, facts.
Like I like the strength training and switching that up, but like catering to a new skill and like thinking of like for example, for me, chess is big. I said this on another episode, but like different games that have a sub-layer of skill progression. Like chess teaches top-down thinking. At least I think. My terminology might be correct, but for me, it teaches me to step back from situations and help me look at it from a different perspective. So if I'm tunnel visioning on one piece of material on the board, I lose sight of what else is happening. But like it's like with poker too. Like what James Bond said. Poker is a game where, like, if only you believe the man with the best hand wins. You're not playing your hand, you're playing the guy coming across from you. These are different skills. That helps with reading body language, profiling skills. You can pick up all of these subliminal sources of knowledge by playing, common games with your friends. And just picking up on different stuff. And that's what keeps my mind firing. And whether or not it's sticking my head in the nose, like sticking my nose in the book of a programming guide or something, like a Python program, a programming language or something, or if I'm doing stuff at work that's kind of in that same vein, it's something new, kind of diving into these, different stuff. But it's like that's where my brain is kind of like very much thriving. It's like the Sherlock Holmes quote: my mind rebels at stagnation. Give me problems, give me work, and then I will be in my element.
Yeah, for sure. And if you can kind of, like you said, reprogram your subconscious mind to be more preferable to those types of activities, rather than like what I was describing earlier, rather than when you see like a new task and you're like, fuck, man, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to stay in my comfort zone. And that's something I find I fall victim to. But, like, I also do like to try new things. But it's kind of like this balance between being and becoming, It's like being in the sense that you want to stay present, you want to stay aware, you want to stay peaceful, and keep that high energy state of, like, whether it be being happy, whether it be, being motivated or being disciplined, But sometimes I find that can lead to stagnation, right? It can lead to, like, you just staying in your comfort zone. Like, no matter how much I love, the euphoria of meditation, like, I can't stay there forever, There's going to be times when I'm going to have to step outside that comfort zone, and I'm not always going to be able to meditate,
I think there's different ways of, like, how they do it, but, like, there's also respect and dedication to a singular thing. Like, there was a book, and my fucking friends will give me shit for this because they hear me talk about this guy all the time. And Miyamoto Musashi, the fucking Ronin, and he like, there's a book you can read called Musashi, or you can either read the manga or the novel. They're both kind of the same story. One of them just has pictures and the art's beautiful. That's beside the point, though. The point is, in that, like, both in his actual life and as he's portrayed in this historical fiction story, he's like, I am torn between my love for this woman and my purpose of mastering the blade. But in the end, he chose the blade. Yeah. He dedicated his life to the sword, and it served him extremely well. He gained notoriety as the most famed swordsman on the planet. He had, after he fucking finished his last sword duel, he had thousands of students fawning at his feet to learn from the great master Miyamoto Musashi. And it, like, there's respect in that if you wish to fucking bang your head against the wall and fucking
100%.
Like, there was something about this, like, it was a video game. I think it was called Fury, and there was, like, this character, it's like kind of a series of boss fights, and it's like, what would you do if you had an infinity to yourself? What this guy did was practice. Every day, fucking singular mind and thought. One thing after, like, just the same training, perfection, running, pursuing towards perfection. There is so much respect in that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I, to a degree, strive for that in certain skills, but I also know that there is folly in the singular. So you must be a master you must be a jack of all trades. At least I wish to be one.
Yeah.
Because, like, I would like to. There is a singular purpose, but it's more of an umbrella. There's the top of the umbrella, but there's everything else that's kind of below it. And there is where all of the training can lie. There's so many different skills and little there's little branches on this tree that I can learn to make me better at the singular.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's all of these layers that are in many ways completely separate from the other. All relate to this commonality at the top, which is the mastering the multiple will help you be better at the singular to a degree, at least from my point of view. But that's because I'm very martial arts focused in terms of that kind of thought process.
But I mean, like you said, that kind of. I really like your counterpoint there, and I think that's a big thing, just because you can always improve,
Yes.
Like there's always areas you can improve in, because the humanistic concept of perfection is an illusion in a sense, right? Because
it is an illusion.
Because there's literally there's so many things you can improve on, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about whether this be in life, whether this be a singular category that we're trying to focus on. Like, I mean, look at Tom Brady, for example. Like, I mean, the man is like a walking legend, but he even himself recognizes that he is always a student, right? He is always learning, and even though he is perceived as a master of the game, he's done it all. No, he hasn't, right? Because what he's got 7 rings. Oh, he doesn't have 8. He wants 8. You know what I mean? Like there's always more that can, and that's the illusion, right? Because once you get one thing, you're like, oh, I want to get this next thing. You know, and I think a big thing with that is also realizing what you already have, you know, being grateful for the skills you already have while keeping that vision in mind, right? So whether that be mastering a skill, whether that be, or no, I shouldn't say mastering a skill, or growing in a certain area, whether that be like for me, like cinematography, or, you know, just getting stronger, or, you know, developing a more branded channel, you know. I'm grateful for all, like, for the videos I have on this channel, you know. I'm grateful for the discussions we've already had, you know, because those are just as valuable as the skills that I'm going to attain, right? When we take away that, you know, label, that, you know, imaginary standard, it's just neutral, you know, it is what it is. It's just in a different form, you know. But once we apply that standard, it's probably in a better form. It's more efficient. Maybe it's more high quality, you know, which hopefully it will be in the future. But like overall, I mean, just kind of, I think we touched on a lot of things in this segment that, like, whether that be from mastering a skill to just trying new things. There's always improvement that you can have.
And like going back to the whole multiple skills thing, like all of these topics relate back to the main one of this episode, which is working out. You can apply all of these concepts from working out, and very much so we have learned these from working 100%, out. Like the necessity of, you know, switching it up, the necessity of getting better at like your form. And, you know, all of this kind of circles back to the main topic, and like that's the whole deal of like you need to be constantly improving. The work in what is it? The masterpiece and the work in progress.
Yeah, the masterpiece and the work in progress at the same time. Let's go.
I put my phone on, do not disturb. Don't wanna talk, I don't wanna hear a word. I got these feelings I be feeling inside.